Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad and this is Supercoach Pro. Today we're doing a round 14 Supercoach team preview. I'll just make this one quick so you can see my changes because the game's about to start shortly. So I'm just doing one up, one down. I would have been worried that Bont might be laid out, but we'll see how we go. So basically, if we have a look at my undo changes, I'm going to grab Cherry over Grundy just as a pod ruckman for the rest of the season. They do something different, might always points here and there, but I think Cherry can match it with Grundy's scoring output. And for the rookie of choice, I've gone Dowling this week over any of the other ones. If I need to bring in Kruger, I might perhaps do that if Bont is laid out. But close he has to go. Moyle made me 120k and scored on field, best 22 both weeks. So the side going into it, I'll obviously bring Fisher to the forward on at some point. Probably when the buys are done, I'd say. So I'm missing none down back, as you can see, all the green lights on there. You can't VC and see the same player on the same team. I do know that. So I'm going to VC with Ryan, I reckon. And I'm going to captain Cherry against Decam. And then midfield is going to be interesting. If I lose a spot here, I'm going to have to trade out Rogers. I'm kind of confident that Garcia might get a run. Not too sure. I can just take the emergencies off these because these are pretty pointless, to be honest. Richards comes back in a week or two, probably after his bye, you'd think. So yeah, around 16. So I'm missing Curnow, Flanders, that's 2, and then 2 in the midfield. So I'm literally 18, and I don't really want to play with it as is. But worst case scenario, what can we do? Well, we're not going to trade any of the primos out, I don't think, because I've only got one forward line player to do now after that, because obviously Miller and Oliver come to the midfield. Jackson goes to the forward line. And then we'll have Flanders, Heaney, Curnow, Jackson, and then Fisher in the forward line. Still would be my worst D6. And then, yeah, I just literally need the one upgrade with 7 trades to go, which is pretty doable. I just don't know who to trade. Maybe Sanders next week and Fraser go for a primo potentially. I really want to see what Sanders can do this week against Freo. Hopefully bounce back, get some more CBAs. I'm not too sure what the go is with him. I honestly thought it might be a bit of a shout last week to go him, and kind of glad I did in hindsight because at least he made me money as Wilson, the Kangaroos rookie, did a shoulder and is out for a while. So, yeah, look, he made 25k at worst because he had that 98 in the system and the 73 beforehand with 97 minutes played, which is pretty good. His points per minute isn't too bad for a rookie, I suppose. I'm just hoping he can get to that 90s, 80s, 70s at worst case for a guy that was under 300k. He could do something maybe Simpkin like, etc. But he's only a kid, so he was just a stab in the dark at an F6, F7. And look, if he can bounce back this week, he'll survive another couple potentially. So I just need one more upgrade. Now with Cherry and the Rocket, I'm just going to go, yeah, Cherry and Gorn for the rest of the season. Ryan's the most obvious. I don't have Zorko, so Zorko I'm going to have to anti-pod potentially. Going to hold on to Oliver. I think with Oliver, with Track not being there, the CBAs are going to go to Oliver, Rivers, and Cozzy. So I'll probably have a look at Cozzy in the next couple of weeks, see what he does. And then Rosie, I'm going to try to grab as a spare. And then down back, maybe Sard or someone, or May, as I'm always obsessed with, is someone I could look like grabbing as a spare. I'm just not too sure how I'm going to do it this year with my side. I don't have a lot of trades, to be honest, like most of you anyway, but got some good cover in the meantime. Looks like Revel might be a guy I have to keep. Same with Richards, and Hall's only a week away. So that's the side going into it. Look, if there's a late change, I'll put it on my YouTube live. I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. I mean, worst case scenario, I do want to look at what it's like because Garcia not named. You could trade him out and grab Kruger, but I don't want to jump at Shadows and just waste the trade just for points on field. But field 19, I'd rather just field the 18. But if I had to, let's see who I can grab and can I move anyone by DPP at that point. Excuse me. So players I can afford, and then because pretty much all the rookies you can bring in now are missing next week anyway. Well, you don't want to go Campbell because obviously he's a sub every week. But if I moved Young into the midfield, what could I do? Yeah, that's awful. None of them got DPP, but Campbell. Oh, I wouldn't want to grab Pink either. I've been a Pink hater. he would have already played. Joshua Draper, nah. I'd rather save the trade because he only owes 50 points for the week potentially in this 4-week block. But could I grab a forward instead? Well, Bruce is not named sub. That would be something I'd look at for sure. Who else is in there? Or I don't know if I could trust Michael Walters. Anyone else? Cumberland maybe, but that's, I don't know. Dan Butler's named on the field. That's something I could do if I really needed to. And McMullen, he'll probably be the sub, but he scores well as a sub. So worst case scenario, how would that work? Would I actually have time to do that? Because who am I flicking in the midfield? I suppose I'd be flicking Revel up. So as long as Revel stays there, I can always flick him up and then trade him to even Kruger if I had to last minute. Ooh, Quinton Narkle would be an interesting one. Don't know if I'd do it, but I do have options. So as long as Revel's in the forward line, he can swing up. I think that works. I'll just have a look at it on paper and then get out. I've got to do some things tonight. So, I can't even do that. I'm an idiot. He's got the game tonight. I can do it with Sanders. Can absolutely do that with Sanders or Heaney, to be fair. So it would literally work like this. It'd go Rogers out. Sanders would then play in the midfield, and then I could take my pick, whoever I wanted to grab in that worst case scenario. And I suppose in the same game, I'll know. I mean, if Bont's out, there could be some silver linings. That means Sanders gets some CBAs, but that's what I think I'm running with at the moment. So I'll leave Revel in the forward line so it doesn't block me out of trading a midfielder, I suppose. Anyway, that looks like the team. Won't ramble on too much more. If you've got any trade plans, just message me on my YouTube or into my, what do you call it, into my Twitter account, or X as they call it. So it's Supercoach Pro 91. And then that is my team. We'll do the review hopefully Sunday night and might do a live. It just depends. Got a lot on this weekend. So hopefully you guys have a good one. Hopefully your team gets up. Go to the Tigers for Dusty's 300th. So Steve, if you're watching, I'll buy you some tissue boxes Saturday night. Cheers.